"You're terrible at cooking, James. Go freeze outside with your failed meal," she yelled, slamming the window shut and locking it. I hurried to the window, pleading for James to open it as I pounded on the glass. But he just smirked and closed the curtains. The cold started to creep in, and I began to shake. My body, warm just moments ago from the heater, was quickly losing its heat. What will happen if it stays this cold? Even my baby inside me. I was about to faint from the freezing cold when someone suddenly reached out to help. "Are you okay?" The next day, I came back home with him. James was outside, freezing naked. I was stunned at the sight, but Liam stepped forward. "Isn't that what you said? If you can't cook properly, then freeze outside." Liam gave James a stern look and spoke in a cold tone. James, shivering in the yard, could barely muster a response. "I'll call for an ambulance out of kindness. Emily, do you have anything to say to him before it arrives?" I nodded and stepped closer to James. "My name is Emily Smith. I'm 28 years old and stay at home. When I was working, my mom got sick and passed away. Then, my dad suddenly died from a heart problem. I was left all alone since I'm the only child. It was really hard being by myself, but I kept busy with work. Emily, are you okay? You seem stressed." During that tough time, my husband James was there for me. He comforted me when I felt sad and alone. Eventually, we fell in love and got married after dating for a few years. "We're so happy to have such a wonderful woman in our family," my in-laws said. "James, you've brought home a great lady." After our wedding, I moved in with James' family, and we all got along great. "Emily, I saw a new cafe near the train station on TV. Let's check it out sometime," James suggested. "Sure, I'd love to." I especially bonded with my mother-in-law, and we made it a tradition to go out for a meal once a week. I also connected well with my father-in-law, who enjoys cooking, and we've cooked together in the kitchen a few times. "I'm happy you're getting along with my family, but what about my younger brother? He can be a bit of a handful," James asked. "Oh, he's fine. Liam, my brother-in-law, and I don't talk much because he works from home and stays in his room most of the time. But when I showed interest in his work, he explained it to me in detail. So, I've been getting along well with James' family." A few years later, I found out I was pregnant with James' child. Because of how bad my morning sickness was, I decided to quit my job. "I think that's a good call." "Don't overdo it," James agreed. Deciding to quit wasn't just my choice. I talked it over with James' family. Both James and Liam make enough money for us to live comfortably. I also have savings, and with my father-in-law working and my mother-in-law having a part-time job, quitting my job won't cause any issues. "Wow, pregnant women have it easy. No work, no complaints," someone remarked. Lately, James has been complaining about me not working. But during our discussions about me quitting my job, James was actually the one who suggested it first. He said, "You're just freeloading without a job, acting all high and mighty." "Who's acting high and mighty?" "I'm the one who always cleans up after you," I retorted. I've always been competitive, so I wanted to prove James wrong. "If you had a problem, you should have spoken up during our discussions. You were the one who brought it up, right, James? Instead of complaining, focus on your own responsibilities. My parents-in-law agree with me and support my decision." James feels left out. He and Liam don't get along, so Liam never supports James. James looks down on me because I work from home. He doesn't listen to me and doesn't think I'm helpful. Liam whispered this, which is why he doesn't join our conversations. James doesn't like this, and when we're alone, he complains even more. "Just because my family likes you doesn't mean you should act all high and mighty." I'm not acting that way. Everyone is just being reasonable. Even when it's just the two of us, I never used to lose arguments to James. But when the morning sickness started, I lost the energy to argue. Pregnancy isn't an illness. "If you're not working, James thinks you're just lazy." I agree. Pregnancy isn't an illness, but Emily is putting in a lot of effort to nurture another life. "That's hard work in itself," Liam acknowledged. Liam started helping out too. Whenever James complained to me, Liam would step in and tell his parents. While James got scolded by them, Liam took care of me. At this rate, it's hard to tell who the real father is, I joked, rubbing my belly. With my in-laws keeping an eye on things, I hoped James would eventually change. Until then, I kept trusting him. Oh, James isn't back yet? No, not yet. Suddenly, James started coming home late all the time. He claimed it was because of overtime, but I wasn't sure if that was true. Even on his days off, he'd say he was working late or got called in unexpectedly and wouldn't come home at all. I began to suspect James was cheating, and so did his parents. We tried to gather evidence together, but it was tough to catch him in the act. He always seemed to be at the office, and we couldn't find any evidence of him seeing another woman. Well, we can't really know what's going on inside the company, his parents said. I asked one of his coworkers, but she said everything seemed normal. Hey, Emily, take it easy, she told me. My morning sickness got so bad that I couldn't do any housework. But my father-in-law cooked, my mother-in-law helped with other chores, and Liam pitched in, so everything was okay. You should be ashamed of yourself. Lying around all day, not doing any housework, even though you're a homemaker? Why are you even here? James, who had seen his parents doing chores, woke me up one night just to say that. When I looked upset, Liam replied, "That's rich coming from someone who's not pulling his weight as a husband. Every time you challenge me, even though I'm the eldest. Well, you're not exactly the role model type of brother. You've always been a bit of a know-it-all," Liam retorted. The argument between the brothers escalated, almost turning physical, before their parents stepped in to stop them. After hearing what happened, their parents scolded James, saying, "That's enough. Do whatever you want." "Wait, James, where are you going without talking to me?" James left without a word. "I'm really sorry about that. We'd apologize," their parents said to me in place of James, and the situation calmed down. However, James's behavior has been worsening, and something needs to be done soon. I was at a loss for what to do. Is everything okay? One Saturday, my in-laws had planned a trip for a local event. Despite arranging it beforehand, they were worried about leaving me alone due to James's recent behavior. "I'm concerned about leaving you," my mother-in-law said. "I'll be fine. My morning sickness has eased up a lot," I assured them. They left with concern, and around the same time, Liam had overnight commitments. "I'm sorry for leaving at this time," Liam said. "It's okay, take care," I replied. Not long after they left, Liam also departed. James was unusually at home that day, still asleep. Despite not feeling my best, I decided to get up and do things around the house. I didn't want to risk James's criticism if I stayed idle. Thankfully, my father-in-law had prepared plenty of dishes and stored them in the fridge. I started cleaning and doing laundry, taking it easy on myself. "Hey, breakfast!" James finally woke up close to noon, still looking grumpy with messy hair. He demanded breakfast, and I rolled my eyes, grabbing some leftovers from the fridge. "What's that? Leftovers your dad made you? You can't even cook as a homemaker," James remarked. His comment annoyed me. Why does he say things like this? Doesn't he realize I'm pregnant with his child? There's no excuse for his behavior. Sorry, but right now, my main job is taking care of our baby. Household chores can wait. How dare you talk to your husband like that? James shouted at me, but then Liam barged in, breaking the tension. I could hear them arguing loudly outside. "You stay out of this." James snapped at Liam before storming off to his room, muttering angrily. As expected, James made a racket and then left the house. Liam let out a heavy sigh. "You okay?" Liam asked as he entered the room. "Yeah, what brings you here?" I replied. "I just came to pick up something I forgot," Liam explained, looking at me with concern. I chuckled, noticing how much he resembled his mother. "It's all right, go ahead. Don't worry about me," I assured him. "Okay then, I'll head out," Liam said, hesitating for a moment before leaving. I couldn't help but wonder, Where did the James I first met go? At this rate, it seemed like divorce was inevitable. But I still wanted to remain close to my in-laws. Feeling suddenly drained, I decided to lie down. And before I knew it, I fell into a deep sleep. Emily, time to wake up. James's voice interrupted my sleep. Mim, I mumbled as I sat up. I met James's eyes, expecting him to scold me. However, he gave me a wry smile. I'm sure I'll get an earful from James later, I thought. I wanted to let you sleep, but it's already evening, James said in a surprisingly gentle tone. I was shocked by his kindness. I've prepared dinner, so when you're ready, come join me, he added before leaving the room. I noticed a blanket over me and couldn't help but wonder if James had covered me. I went to the kitchen and found my father-in-law's dishes already warmed up, ready to eat. I'm sorry, Emily, James said sincerely. When I found out we were having a baby, I was thrilled, but then I got overwhelmed and took it out on you. This cake is my way of apologizing. James presented a cake to me. Honestly, this gesture couldn't erase all the past hurts, but his genuine apology warmed my heart. For now, I decided to forgive him and enjoy our meal together. Look, it's snowing, James exclaimed excitedly. Oh, you're right. Let's go see, I replied, following him to the window. The sight of the snow falling against the night sky was beautiful. Since I came from a place where it rarely snowed, this was a special moment for me. Without hesitation, I moved closer to the window. Let's open it, James suggested. But it'll be cold, I protested. Just put on a jacket. He insisted as he draped one over me and opened the window, letting in the chilly wind. As I braced myself against the cold, James hugged me. Suddenly, I found myself outside, and when I turned around, I saw James grinning mischievously. You're a homemaker who doesn't do the housework. That makes you a bad wife. Think about that tonight, he teased. Excuse me? What are you saying? You can't even cook, I retorted. With that, James shut and locked the window. I rushed to the window, pleading with James to open it as I pounded on the glass, but he just grinned and closed the curtains. The cold was starting to make me shiver. My body, warm from the heater just moments ago, was rapidly losing its warmth. What am I going to do if this continues? Even my baby inside me, just as I felt like I might pass out from the cold and shock, someone reached out to me and asked if I was okay. They helped me into their car. Why were you out here at this time of night? It was Liam, who had come home earlier than planned because he was worried about James. The car's heater warmed me up, and I felt relieved. We should go to the hospital, just to be safe, Liam suggested as he drove me there. Thanks to his quick action, both my baby and I were okay. While I was being examined, Liam arranged for a hotel where we could stay. He left to take care of something else. I'm so relieved. You're going to be a strong baby, right? Feeling reassured, I rubbed my belly. I was grateful that nothing serious had happened. Exhausted, I fell asleep as soon as I lay down on the bed. Oh, Emily, are you feeling better now? Liam asked as we left the hospital. Yes, I'm completely fine now. Thank you so much, I replied gratefully. No problem, shall we head home? Liam suggested. The next day, as we arrived home, I was shocked to see James freezing naked in the yard. Liam approached him with a cold gaze and tone. This is what you said, right? If you can't cook properly, then freeze outside. James, shivering, couldn't even respond properly. I'll call an ambulance out of kindness. Emily, do you want to say anything to him before it arrives? Liam asked me. Nodding, I stepped closer to James. It's because of you that our baby was almost in danger. I will never forgive you. Just wait, I told him firmly. James was taken to the hospital. Later, I asked Liam what happened last night after he dropped me off at the hotel. Liam returned home alone and found James sleeping in the living room, naked with another woman who seemed to be his mistress. James had brought her home, thinking we wouldn't be there, and with me locked out, he seemed confident. Liam, furious, threw James out of the house in his birthday suit, telling him to think about his actions. Then Liam interrogated the shocked mistress, gathered evidence, and sent her back to her place. It turned out she had a family too. By the time Liam informed them of everything, dawn was approaching. He took a short nap in the car and then came to pick me up. That's how everything unfolded. I've talked to my parents. They said they're coming home today. Liam told me with a gentle smile, staying by my side until they returned. It's going to be okay now, Liam. Thank you so much, I said gratefully. Nah, I just did what needed to be done. Thanks to him, I could feel safe at home, Liam replied. I'm so sorry, that idiot. I can't apologize enough. James immediately apologized upon their return and faced their wrath. James was forced to pay child support, and it was decided that he would be kicked out. I'm so sorry. It was just a mistake, Emily. I truly love only you, James pleaded, but I ignored him. I wish he'd stop treating me like a fool, I thought to myself. Suddenly, James became aggressive, raising his hand at me. Enough is enough, my Dan's son. Liam intervened, grabbing and twisting James's arm. With the help of my father-in-law, James was easily overpowered, and I felt relieved. I really just lost my mind for a moment. Emily, James said remorsefully as he was thrown out by the two men, while I was comforted by my mother-in-law. He was pathetic until the very end, I thought to myself. As for James, that's all I ever thought. By the way, Liam's pretty strong, isn't he? Considering what just happened and how he tossed a full-grown man outside, Emily remarked. Oh yeah, he used to do combat sports back in the day. I wouldn't recommend trying that move on just anyone though, Liam said with a smile. Emily felt a flutter in her heart at his smile, and her mother-in-law laughed upon noticing. With such good looks and strength, it's surprising he doesn't have a girlfriend, her mother-in-law teased. Liam bashfully looked away, which Emily found endearing. From then on, Emily decided to stay and be cared for in her in-laws' home since she had no other family or reliable person to turn to. If you'd allow, I'd love to hold your baby, her mother-in-law said. Of course, anytime, Emily replied. Right now, the four of us are eagerly awaiting the birth of my precious baby, Emily thought to herself. Talking to Liam, Emily found out that James the Fair was with a junior from his office. No wonder she wouldn't spill the beans when asked, Emily thought. The two of them were sneaking around and getting cozy at various spots. Once I reported it to the junior's husband, he did a thorough investigation. With that evidence, my divorce process went smoothly. Both of them got fired for fooling around during work hours and for claiming their dates as business expenses, Emily recounted. Thank you for all the help, Emily said to Liam. Well, it's only natural to want to help someone you love, right? Liam replied, his face turning beet red. Wait, what? Emily was surprised, and both of them blushed. Then Emily found out that Liam had feelings for her for a long time. I always thought I should hide these feelings, Liam confessed. I never imagined he felt that way about me, Emily thought. Honestly, I'm not ready to be in a relationship like that right now, Emily said. I understand, but if you can wait a bit, I want to explore these feelings, Liam said. Emily smiled, and Liam smiled back happily. I'm going to do everything I can to make you see how much I care, Liam declared. Okay, I'll be ready for that, Emily replied. Liam's parents overheard their conversation during dinner, which was really delicious. Looks like Liam has a girlfriend now, his mother teased. Liam blushed and responded playfully. Both his father and I laughed at that, Emily remembered. Afterwards, I gave birth to our lovely daughter right on time, Emily proudly shared. She's so cute. Congratulations. She looks just like Emily, adorable, Liam's parents said. I don't want to let her go, Liam said happily, embracing his role as a father. Years later, I happily married Liam again, and our daughter calls him Daddy. Liam adores her, Emily remembered fondly. I think our next child will be a boy, Liam guessed. Yeah, that would be cool if he's like me. But having a boy who looks like you would be awesome too, Liam added. I'm pregnant with our second child now. Our daughter is thrilled about becoming a big sister, Emily said happily. We're all thinking of names together. It seems like our daughter's suggestion might win, Emily laughed. I'm going to make Emily our daughter and the new baby happy, Liam promised. Don't forget about yourself in that promise, Emily said with a smile. We're planning to live happily ever after, all 6 of us together, having fun and getting along. That's our plan, Emily concluded. We can't wait to go out together as a family once the new baby arrives.